Good morning, students. Today's topic is the classification or types of diseases. Basically, diseases can be broadly classified into two groups as given in your textbook. The first one is congenital, and the second one is acquired. In congenital diseases, basically these are the inborn or afterborn diseases which are already present in the organisms. These are basically anatomical or physiological abnormalities present since birth. They may be caused by, for example, single gene mutation. You may have the examples for this is like albinism, in which the color of the organism is uh, devoid because of the non-secretion of the melanin. Likewise, sickle cell anemia, which we already studied in chapter heredity and evolution. Hemophilia, color blindness, these are the example for the single gene mutation which are congenital in nature. Likewise, chromosomal aberrations, in which there may be change in the number of chromosomes during the separation of chromosomes or formation of gametes. There may be some additional chromosomes, or there may be chromosomes which are low in number in some of the gametes. So for such examples, you already know that there is Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, Turner syndrome. These are the examples of chromosomal aberrations which are coming under congenital diseases. Likewise, environmental factors are also affecting the individuals. For this, we may have diseases like cleft palate, hair lip. These are the diseases which are environmental in nature. So basically, the genes and chromosomes induced congenital defects are transmitted to the children, where the environmentally caused abnormalities are due to the environment. The next type of category of disease is acquired disease. So basically, acquired disease are the disease which we uh, acquire in our lifespan. So these diseases, they basically develop after the birth of the individual. They are further classified into two types, and these are communicable or non-communicable. So communicable diseases, as you know, most of the communicable diseases, they are infectious and they are being passes from one person to another person, whatever be the means. If we are going to define communicable disease, these are the diseases which are basically spread by or caused by the different pathogens. Namely, it could be a virus, it could be a Rickettsia, bacteria, fungal origin, protozoans, or worms. So they can spread, or they can be they can transmit its presence from one person to another person, and they can be speedily transmitted in the population also. So you may have several examples for such communicable diseases. The next classification is non-communicable diseases, in which most of the diseases, they are remain confined to the individual only, or the person who is suffering from those diseases, and these are basically not passed from one person to another person. So individuals, they need to cope up, or they are only the sufferers for such type of non-communicable diseases. They are further classified into different types. The first one is organic disease, or you can say the degenerative type of diseases, in which basically there is malfunctioning of some of the important organs of the body, like heart is not able to do its work properly inside the body of the individual. Then it can develop certain heart alignments or heart diseases. Epilepsy, heart diseases are basically the results from the abnormal working, which may be due to some of its part, or uh, likewise, epilepsy may result from the abnormal pressure on the regions of the brain. The next one is deficiency disease, which we have already studied in lower classes, specifically in 6th class. These diseases are produced by the deficiency of nutrients, minerals, vitamins, or inadequate diet. So you can include some of the examples like disease which are caused by vitamin A deficiency, that is night blindness, beriberi, scurvy due to lack of vitamin C, etc. These are the few common examples which I have already studied in lower classes. Likewise, diseases which are due to the additional secretion, or you can say low secretion of the hormones, which may result some of the diseased condition in the body. Like whenever there is secretion of low secretion in the body of the insulin, then person may suffer from diabetes. Iodine deficiency may cause goiter. These are the some examples which are coming under the hormonal diseases. Likewise, allergies. These diseases are basically caused when body which has become very much hypersensitive to certain foreign substances. वो कुछ भी हो सकता है, like pollen grain and some of the chemical irritant, some of the spray, deo, etc. Whatever be the chemical agent which irritates the individual's body when it comes in contact with when the body of the substance or you can say when the body of the individual is coming under the contact of such substances, certain type of allergies or allergic reactions may develop inside the body of the organism. Like hay fever is an allergic disease which is very very commonly given in most of the books. And you can also classify one of the acquired disease which is basically present in our society nowadays. It's cancer, which I have not mentioned here, but it is also the uncontrolled growth of certain tissues in the body. We don't know exactly why it happens and why certain cells they try to behave like this. So it can be also of two types. Further we need to study in a elaborated way in this chapter itself. So they are basically of two types, benign and malignant. These are the two forms of the cancer. So the next topic is we need to take the pathogenic diseases which are basically due to the infections caused by the different types of microbial agents. So they may include viruses or any other living form of organisms like bacteria, fungi, etc., which we already know. So basically these are the diseases which are caused by the pathogens and readily spread from one infected person to the healthy person. So these are communicable in nature basically. So let's see what is the shortest definition for pathogenic diseases. These are the diseases which are caused by the pathogens. You may give examples for different types of pathogens like bacterial. If you are going to give the example for bacteria, then you may mention some of the common bacterial diseases like typhoid and all, which are caused by the bacterias. You can specify the name also. Likewise, if it is viral in nature, then you may, if you know the name of the viruses, then you may quote the examples while you're writing the answers in the examination. So let's see how these diseases they are caused by pathogens and how we can certainly say that the certain type of symptoms which are developed in the body of the organisms are basically due to the so and so type of organism. Suppose it is having XYZ type of symptoms, then how we can say that it is bacterial in origin and so and so type of particular species responsible for this particular disease. So for such manifestation, one of the scientists which is known as Robert Koch, they have experimentally proved the pathogenic evolution or presence of the organism. He was a German bacteriologist and Nobel laureate. In the year 90 his duration of work was from the year 1843 to 1910, and he has established that a specific pathogen may cause a particular disease. So to prove that, what he had he did a lot of experiments, and based on those experiments he has given the postulates which are very very important to understand, and these postulates are basically listed under 4 heads. So one of the important thing which we need to understand is that how certain organism or bacterial, whatever be the nature of the organisms. See, viruses, they cannot be cultured, and their nature cannot be understood under you can say in vitro conditions or in lab conditions, except any other bacterial or microbial organisms can be studied, and Koch postulates are valid for such organisms. So let's see what are the basic things which the scientist has given to us. See, whenever there is disease development inside the body of the organism, it leads to the certain symptoms. So those symptoms, they can be collaborated or they can be tested in the following ways. So the very first postulate was the presence of pathogen in the body. See, if there is certain bacteria, let's take the example of typhoid bacteria, which is caused by the bacteria named as, I think, what is the bacteria for, I think Streptococcus Salmonella typhi. It was the bacteria which causes the typhoid. So presence of pathogen. So suppose if someone is suffering from typhoid, then he may have the presence of this bacteria in his body. So this bacteria is, it has to be there in the body, and when the next step is isolation and culture of the pathogen. So when we take the bacteria from the individual who is suffering from the particular disease, then we'll able to culture it inside the laboratory condition, and then the third step is inoculation of the pathogen. So the same bacteria which is causing typhoid in the organism which is suffering from typhoid, it can be inoculated, and it can be infested in the organism's body, so as to develop the same similar conditions which are present with the diseased organism, and it can be tallied. So if the symptoms they are same, then we can certainly say that the organism is basically the typhoid which is showing so and so type of symptoms. So the fourth postulate was pathogen recovery from the experimental host. So certainly after the verification of the symptoms which are similar to the individual which is suffering from the disease and the individual or the experimental host, it can be a rabbit, it can be any other mammal, or it can itself be a human body. So when the symptoms they are similar, so Koch postulates they are valid for certain type of organism, microbial agent. So we are taking this postulate in reference to the pathogen which is causing disease in the organisms. For any queries or doubts, please post your comments. Thank you.